Hey yo, what's good? It's your favorite Straw Hat Nico, talking about Princess Principal, and man, something sensational to say the least, way more darker than envisioned, but I still like this anime. Let me explain real quick like Nestle. So essentially we learned there's a secret war going on between spies and this kingdom. So it's basically set in someplace in London, 19th century, so it's a pretty cool time with a lot of cool weapons. What I like about this, our main characters are high school girls, and here's the best part of all. By day, they're regular students. By night, they're spies. So, whew, gets juicy, right? And we focus on this episode. I guess we're learning how spy life really works for the girls and what exactly they do and why they make the choices that they do. Because I was wondering, okay, so if they're spies, how are they supposed to act? What do they do when they're not being spies? They're pretty much average high school students. The only difference is they're okay with lying to each other because one girl was saying, you know what, let's try being honest to each other. But she was saying that's a charming idea, but we don't need to do it because remember, if we start telling each other the truth, we cannot be friends. Or she's implying that some way, somehow. I found interesting. Another thing one girl said, I think her name was Princess, she was saying it's hard to tell when Ange, one of the main characters look like, is lying. And then another character was saying, there's the way stuff works. Lies can eventually become truths. Bruh, mind blown. So the episode is trying to help out this scientist and what he's doing. He's trying his best to actually get enough money to save his little sister, but here's the problem. He found out a long time ago he's gonna need 10 years worth of salary to pay for the operation. And it seemed like she's affected by this magical chemical or drug. Don't know what it's actually called, but they call it Kavaritz. I don't know what it stands for, what it is, but it seemed like it's very interesting. And her eyes were green just like the actual chemical / drug, whatever it is, right? And the funny thing is, it seemed like she's really smart because she knew, wait, my brother didn't send nobody to see me at the hospital. Leave me alone. That's the only thing I have. So that was actually pretty good, character development. I'm surprised she was able to do that. And it was just shocking to say the least because remember, it's like a little girl. And what Ange noticed is she's a ballerina, and that scientist, what he had in his bag earlier, was that she got accepted into a ballerina academy. So they understand now why he did everything he did. But turns out he was playing. He was not trying to defect for real because they were saying earlier what they could do, just get the sister or forcefully drug him and make him defect to the other side. And I was sitting here like, what? When I say other side, I'm talking about West, because it seemed like it's a war between East versus West that started 10 years ago, and ever since then it's been an actual secret war that no one really knows about, but it continues to go on. So it's funny stuff how everything just tied together. But like what the scientist was, I was wondering, okay, he needs money for this operation, but he's still acting like a weirdo. He's just going along with all the things that he's told by these spies. If I was in his position, when I start trying to wild out or do something to let them know, I understand what you're doing, but I'm not 100% with it. No matter what happened, he just kept his calm. He questioned things like a normal person should do, but it's just when stuff happened that was just really abnormal, especially for spies, he didn't really say, you're going too far, I'm not with it. If y'all don't stop, I'm not going to continue to do what you need me to do. He just accepted and asked the questions that he needed to at the moment. So I knew something was up. And the funny thing is, what Andrew did earlier, as soon as he saw his sister, she went to go get life insurance. So at first, I just thought, oh, she's just getting regular insurance so he can pretend to be dead. Well then, nah, bruh, she actually killed him in that episode. It caught me off guard, but I understand why she did it. So I thought this entire time she was bonding with this scientist man so they can actually, build a relationship. So it's not like, okay, we just have you here chilling like a hostage. It's supposed to be like, okay, you're hostage, low key, but at the same time treat you like a normal person. And what made me laugh was, now I think about it, if the princess is a spy for the kingdom, that's just some crazy stuff. If he even stayed alive, he could easily tell that and more reputation and cause more problems. So he kind of had to die if you think about it, regardless. Made me laugh so much about this show. It's just everything came full circle. So we learned essentially in this whole situation, there's two teams for the agency we're focusing on. They have a principal team and a wall team. So you get the title now, Princess Principal. You get it. And I found it funny that, okay, that the agency, they knew where everything was going on and they stayed on top of things. They were saying, okay, look, whatever we do, we got to make sure everything goes according to plan. And I knew that scientist man was a little too cooperative. Something was off about him. Y'all know what to do. And the other agency, it seemed like they're just terrible. I think they were saying they're under the Duke of Denmark or something along those lines, right? And what he's trying to do is, wild out one time for the one time. And he set the scientist man up to do everything he did and pretend defect to draw out the other agency. That's really low, bruh. For real, for they're willing to kill little girls. But in this context, it all adds up. Maybe the show is trying to show us that the reason why it's okay for spies to lie and be reckless, but also careful, you never know what can happen next. So think about this. If the girls were on for each other all the time, if one person said the honest, ugly truth, if someone overheard, it could blow their cover. So it makes sense even when if no one's around, you still keep the act of being a spy where you're just saying stuff in code words and you're lying to save face, because every girl in the show had an amazing poker face where it's like, if you didn't know them, you'd be like, oh, that's the truth. But it's the funny thing, if the own girls are saying to each other, hard to tell when someone's lying and someone's being truthful now, you know something's up. You know they got it on lock. Because the funny thing is, the base of operations is their high school. The thing's called Mayfair Academy. So if you know, think about it. Their own high school is their base operations, their HQ. If anyone overhears anything they do, or that got a character from what other girls know at the school, game over. So now it makes a lot of sense why stuff happened in this episode the way they did. They're probably trained at a young age, and they know the responsibility they're going with. They're in war, so they must know if they do anything reckless or too crazy, everything they worked for will be gone. The agency's probably paying them a good amount of money, and it's kind of nice that they can continue going to school and have some form of ordinary life despite what they do every last night. And that little thing they have, Kavaret, I want to know exactly what it is. Is it chemical? Like, what is it? Because the funny thing is, one girl put this little container and called it a refrigerator and said it cooled off enough before she can use it again. It was just like, what do they go through to become spies? Okay, do they get all picked by the same person, their boss? I want to know more. That's what I like about good anime like this. You know it's good when you're thinking about all the possibilities, what it's trying to stand for, and you're interested in the characters and their personalities. Because for me, problem I have with a lot of anime is, it's like, first episode never really sells me, but this season, every first episode is a banger. Makes me think and say, oh, that's why I did that. Oh, these characters actually have depth to them. I like it. I like it a lot. Seems like Ange is one of those characters where she didn't choose a spy life, kind of chose her based on the way she talks. And at this point in time, she's always thinking like a spy. I gotta be on my toes. I gotta keep secrets. I cannot get exposed. Because if I do, I'll ruin everything. Maybe correct other girls, because I think they're a giant team anyway, so they all can't afford to lack at all. But what I did like about the scientist was, I really understand the way he felt and why he did what he did. He probably thought what he was doing at the time was the best move forward, and I'm pretty sure when, political and warfare is involved, things get a little complicated. So let's say the Prince of Denmark, or whatever that man's, person was, let's say he did make him a good deal. Why would he go so far just to draw out people? Couldn't he just pull them up anytime he wanted to? There had to be a reason. I need more details, bruh. Let me calm down, though. So to wrap things up, I'm going to give this an A+, bruh. It's hard for me to enjoy an anime off a first episode. So when I do, it's something truly sensational, to say the least. I could say more, but I think I pretty much said everything I want to about this show. Either you want to check it out, or I really suggest binging it all so you can enjoy the glory in its fullest. But hey, bruh, that's just my thoughts on it. So do your boy a favor. If you did enjoy, give it a like button, subscribe there to join my Straw Hat fleet, share your favorite social media so more people can know about us, and we can expand the fleet one day at a time. Also, if you want to back me financially, I got a Patreon, pull up there. Here's how Patreon works. Think of it as a tip jar. I don't want to use ads in my videos, so if you want to, slime me $1 one time for the one time, I greatly appreciate it. Oh yeah, if you haven't already, check out my entire playlist for other Nico impressions so you can see all the anime that I enjoyed and which ones I didn't really agree with. And that's pretty much all I want to say. I could say so much more, but my crew needs me.